everyone, and welcome. I'm Roland Walker, and I'm doing a blog for First Advance. So today, what I'd like to discuss is what are your other forms of lending? And obviously what springs to mind first is bank. So everyone's been to a bank, everyone has bank accounts, I'm sure. It's obviously it's institutionalized, it's massive. There's a huge amount of advertising telling you how you can have your dreams realized with the help of the banks, and I'm sure we all know it, I certainly do, that the banks are very restricted as to how they can help you. So mistakes happen in life, and people don't pay things and they get into trouble, which sometimes is your fault, and other times it's just a matter of circumstance. And the banks obviously look at your rating. They look at what you've done in your past, in your financial past, and they look at what kind of risk they would put you in. So they've got various different stratas of risk level. And if you've been a good boy and you've always made your payments and they've given you loans and that kind of thing, and you've always paid them back. In fact, the banks, it's ridiculous, but well, it's not really, but they want you to lend. They really do. When you do lend and you don't get it right, then they don't want to know you, but they actually want you to go into credit with them. So they want to lend to you. I was trying to get some e-bucks of late, and it was amazing because I was wondering why I wasn't getting more e-bucks. Quite a lot of money goes through my private account, paying for all sorts of family expenses and stuff, and I wasn't hitting what friends of mine were, and I found out that it's actually because I don't have enough credit with them. So I don't have a credit card, I don't have a loan with them, and if you take out all of those loans, then they will give you a lot of e-bucks. So nothing for nothing, not with anyone. Don't ever think that the banks or really any lending company is going to look after you and make sure that it's a business. They want to make a return on their money, and they want it as safe as possible. So the banks are obviously your go-to option. That's who gives you the best rate. It's a bank. It's a set rate from the Reserve Bank, and they work according to various different risk levels on that bank rate. I'm not even sure what the current bank rate is, but it's 10, 11, 12%, somewhere around there. You can check it on Google. Those are your options. My suggestion is if you can get a bond for a property, do that. That gives you the best rate, or one of the best rate from the bank, and use your bond as an access bond. So if you've got a bond of R1 million, try and get it so that you've actually paid more than just the interest amounts, and you've actually got capital that you can draw upon. So you've got, let's say you've paid 300,000 rands worth of your capital back. Now your loan, your bond is R1 million, but you've actually paid down to 700,000 rand, which means you've got 300,000 rands worth of cash available that you can draw upon if you need it for whatever the events are. We all know in life how things can change, and how suddenly you need more money than you need for another month, typically on holiday, and when your kids need it, and whatever it is for business. Nothing is ever a straight line. There it goes like that, and that is the best way to try and access money. The other is if you're lucky and you have lovely friends, rich friends and rich family, to obviously loan from them. But that comes with a whole host of emotions, and it can be very, very difficult to lend from friends and from family. I don't make it a rule, but I have, and I've lent from friends, from fantastic friends who have helped me when I've needed it, and I've done the same. So I believe that if you're going to look after somebody, and you're going to have to risk lend it to someone who you care about, and lend it to someone who you love. rather than forcing those people to go and, to businesses, banks, and other places. So yeah, I'm all for helping. There are various cultures around the world that do help. The Muslim culture is one that help each other. The Jewish culture. In the black culture, the stokvel is a form of lending, and it's so funny because I know 3 or 4 white families and white people that actually do have a stokvel arrangement. So I think it's a great way also of lending. And if you don't know what stokvel is, it's basically a pot where everyone puts in money, and at a certain period of time, one of the people of everyone, the collective pot, actually gets the full pot out. So it's a nice time knowing that in 6 or 7 months or whatever, that you will actually get, if there's 10 people and they put in 1,000 rand, you'll get 10,000 rand, which is it's a wonderful and exciting way to have some kind of lending program, and it does work. Then there's micro lending, which is typically for the guy who has a salary. It's the sort of lower income people that get involved in micro lending. But saying that, students, whoever needs money quickly gets involved in a micro lending deal. It's also a very quick way of getting money, accessing money, but it's also, relatively speaking, not a whole lot of money that you can access. I think I haven't checked the stats on it, but it was 3,000 to 4,000 rand. I'm not sure what it is, and you can roll that money. Be careful, like everything. If you want things quickly, there's a cost to it. So it is a high interest and it is expensive. So you need to be aware of that. What else? There's our business, asset lending, which is for people that own an asset. So it's typically not the lower end of the income market. It's people that have assets that are paid up, and they can use them as security to access cash. So it's always a great way of dealing with if you need cash quickly, is to have assets, liquid assets that you can dispose of or you can lend against. Always a good idea when you do make excess cash to buy assets, because when your money sits in the bank, the returns sometimes aren't as good. And the nice thing about assets, liquid assets, you can use them. So it's not just they're sitting and it's just a number on a bank statement. They can be used, and if you choose the right ones, they can appreciate a lot. I've done asset loans on old antique cars, vintage cars that the guy bought for 50,000 rand, and it's worth 500,000 rand now. So if you're careful about things and you make the right choices, I've also bought quite a lot of assets in my time. Property being one of them is a very solid investment. So those are pretty much the options that you have. There are other types of lending. There's a form of lending for retail companies, which is called merchant cash advances, and that looks at how well the business is performing and how things are actually working as far as profitability of that business, and then they give a portion of money based on that profitability, and they collect it on a daily basis, which lowers their risk. So that is another type of thing. You guys are welcome if anyone's interested. I've got various companies that I've dealt with that would offer that kind of product. So you can just send a mail to us or get hold of us, and we can help you, point you in the right direction. So that's it for today. Thank you very much, and we'll be chatting soon. Cheerio.